4 years after the scrap iron industry faced a complete state-led shutdown resulting from the theft of copper, the problem is presenting itself again. The booming trade, fueled in part by the higher prices of copper internationally, stands among the driving factors. President of the T&TEC Scrap Iron Dealers Association, Allan Ferguson, says it is driving a sense of desperation.
Because if you look all over the world, because of the price of copper today, it is a lot of money, and it seems to be people just doing things to get copper. They don't matter what they break the law in, and the copper theft is increasing all over Trinidad, also and in Tobago.
It is stripping the country of critical infrastructure, with the fallout being felt directly by state companies like TSTT and T&TEC.
That is one of the biggest problems that we have, because then when you leave that open, then anybody could just come in the industry and do a lot of things. But if you regulate that part of it, that is one of our biggest problems that we have in, because then people from all over coming in and selling scrap, and there is one of the things, because when you look sometimes in the scrap yard, you see people from different company, even T&TEC, TSTT, different company coming in and selling copper.
Ferguson admits that stolen state property is actively flowing into local yards, weaponized by unlicensed van collectors who are operating completely outside of the legal frameworks drawn up in 2022 in an attempt to regulate the industry.
And if the association asking you all to put a ban on the copper, it's not a ban on the industry, it's a ban on this copper, because we don't want the censor with all the members is about, we don't want to lose the whole industry.
Fearing that the government will step in and collapse the multi-million-dollar scrap sector as it did 4 years ago, the association is walking a tightrope. It is voluntarily offering up a temporary embargo on copper itself if no other mitigating measures can be found, in an attempt to protecting the wider market.
Right now is more than about $40,000 per ton per scrap that them getting. We're going to put a cap on the pricing of copper to try to reduce people trying to get involved in going and steal copper, because you see, if you steal a little bit of copper, it's plenty money still. So we want to try to reduce that copper price to able for people to understand that it ain't gonna be just a little bit of copper, that you could thief and get plenty money.
To survive, the industry is preparing to take matters into its own hands, alongside proposals being fleshed out by a stakeholder committee, including for centralized scrap parks to bolster monitoring. TTSIDA plans to artificially clamp local purchase prices. This, it says, will stifle the financial incentive. TTSIDA is set for round 2 of emergency talks with the dealers and major exporters on June 23rd. Ferguson says it will determine if an interim alternative to a copper ban can be found. But in the long term, TTSIDA wants legislative teeth that will allow it to legally police the industry. Alicia Boucher, TV6 News.